jumping on for a bit of a chat, have a look at what's going on in our backyard, have a look at the bees, have a look at the plants, see how we're all going to go. I'll turn you around and we will start with the garden. So this is a pumpkin patch. It was just a concrete slab, but we've decided to change it into something that we can use for the garden. So we've laid down some straw and the pumpkins are growing out onto that. Silly me was cutting off some of the ones that were going to go this way, and I cut our biggest one off that was growing out there. So we are down to one long one, but there is a second plant in there which is putting out another one. So although I cut it off, I will be letting the other one grow out there as well. So that was a concrete slab that is now a part of the garden. Over the back there we have lemongrass. That one's grown really well. And sweet potato, it's going to need a bit of a water. I think some of the leaves are starting to turn a bit yellow. So this here is a log. I don't think I've spoken about it before. It had Australian native bees in it. I tried to do I think it's called an induction hive, which is where you hook a hive on the front and the bees make it into their new home. But I hadn't got all the facts back in the day, so I eventually killed that hive. But I've done all the research and we now have this hive. These are Australian native bees. The hive is called an oath hive, and the native bees are stingless. They're from Australia. We are also from Australia, southeast Queensland. These are native bees and their hive is thriving. We'll have up in the side here European honeybees. Let me go up here. I might actually have a quick look in through the top. I'm not going to pull any of the frames out, but it's been a week since I've had a look inside, so let me just open this strap up. I'm going to have a real quick look in here. So here's the bees at the bottom. I don't have any smoke or anything with me. I'm just going to have a quick look in. The bees here are super friendly. I'm not sure if you just heard, but they've worked out that I was in here. There's one beetle, a few beetles up the back that I'm just going to squish. But as you can see down the gaps, there's plenty of bees. They're doing a really good job here. And if you see, let me try and get my camera in the right spot. That little black beetle there, it's called a small hive beetle. It's just tucked in behind the edge. The bees can handle it when they've got good numbers, and they are actually picking up their numbers quite well here at the moment, so I'm not super worried. But that's what the inside of the hive looks like. Just going to put this back down, try not to squish anybody. And then we'll go back and look at the Australian natives. You can see all the bees flying around. As soon as I put the lid back on, all the ones that I was blocking, I had to go head straight back in. Welcome all, hello, I appreciate you all being here. There is no need to run, the bees have already calmed back down. Most bees are really friendly, you can see here. people think of bees as dangerous. As long as you don't annoy them too much, there is no problems. We head back around the corner. I can't open the Australian native hive because they build it a whole lot different. There's no frames in there. There's nothing holding the honey. It's just a wild build inside. So it'll stay shut until it's time to split the hive, which is not going to be until next spring. Until then, we just let them work. If you want to track how the hive's going of these ones, you weigh it. I've got the weights of the empty box written down, and you can tell how well they're going by the weight of their hive. Let's scroll back through. Run, hello, hello. How pretty. I thought that was harsh of me opening the hive. I think it was harsh for the bees. They won't even know it had happened to them. If there was a problem with it, they would have set off a pheromone. They would have told the bees to come out and attack. They didn't. Opening the beehive is fine. We'll go in there about once a month, check it all out, make sure it's big enough for them. Once they get onto a good flow of honey, they're going to get moved up into a full-size hive. That hive was actually just a swarm that we picked up a couple of months ago. So once they fill out that small box, we'll move them over into a bigger box, and then once they fill that one up, we'll start adding honey supers on top. But in the garden, I'll give you guys a quick rundown. Not sure if you like gardening. I hope you do. And the reason for a few things like this plant here is a lemongrass. It's in lots of Asian cooking. The reason that one's in a pot and not in the garden is because it is a grass and it will take over. So we let it grow, we'll let it fill up the pot completely. We will harvest it as we need it, and then once the pot's full, we will harvest it and replant just a small amount in the middle and restart the journey. This one here is sweet potato. I only have one sweet potato slip, which is like the seedling. It just doesn't come from seed, it comes from another vine. So that one's in a pot just so it's easier to harvest. If we planted that one in the garden, then I'd have to dig up the garden to find the potatoes. This one, I can just tip it out. Add some fertilizer, add some more mulch in there. You can watch a video about me planting that one if you'd like. You want to try and keep the soil in there as loose as possible so there's room for the potatoes to grow. So when it's time to harvest that one, we'll tip it all out. Add in some new fertilizer, some more mulch, keep it nice and loose, replant the slips, which will just be cuttings off this vine now, and then that one will be good to go. As I said, there's a video about planting that one in our videos. Hit the subscribe button, you can go back and have a look at that after if you're interested in sweet potatoes. Moving on a little bit, we have this one here. It's a pumpkin. It's called an Australian Blue. I was silly enough to cut the wrong vine off yesterday, so I actually cut the main vine off one of the plants, which sucks a little bit. There was two nice big vines running out here, but it's my mistake. That's fine. Another one will grow out. I'm not too worried. Past the pumpkin is the lemon tree and the corn. The corn's growing nice and tall now. We have the pollen at the top. Not sure if we're going to be able to get it on camera, but if we give this a slight tap, no, the breeze blows off pollen, which then falls down onto the corn cobs. These things with the hair coming out are the new corn cobs that are starting to grow. The hair's called silk, and one piece of pollen coming off this flower touches a piece of silk, and that fertilizes one kernel of corn. So you want to plant it as a bit of a patch, so when these fall, there's a decent chance that they're going to get onto all of the cobs. So like if some pollen from this one falls and lands onto a cob from this one, it will fertilize that kernel of corn. We've just sown some more corn seeds. I did have corn, another lot of corn seeds that I've been planting, and none of them germinated. So I've thrown them out. I've gone and got some new ones. and they'll be planted there. I have about 3 or 4 different types of corn, so I'll pick my favorite corn at the end of the season, and I will save the seeds from those plants for the next lot. We have beetroot across the front there. It's strange how different plants can grow. Like this one here on the left was planted the exact same day as the ones over here on the right. Just difference in seeds. They're in a very similar area, so I'm not sure why there's such a big difference where they're planted, but at the moment, huge difference between these beetroot and these beetroot. But we've got more room at the front. I have more seeds germinating as we speak. I might take you guys up there soon to have a look at those. In here we have an orange plant. It still has the tag on it. We'll be able to see what it is. It is a blood navel orange Cara. It's in a pot at the moment, but shortly all of this grass will be gone and it will be gardens, and the orange plant will have its own spot somewhere out there. Behind the orange plant is a mandarin plant or tree. That one's staying there, it's planted in the ground. Then we move past to the zucchini, which has finally started taking off. For the first few weeks I was a little bit worried that it wasn't going to survive, but the leaves are looking good now, the color's nice, it's flowering, so I think that one will start to take off. We'll be picking from that for the majority of the summer. We are halfway through spring at the moment here in southeast Queensland. I really appreciate all the likes. Our channel is called Aussie Backyard Harvest. We are a family in southeast Queensland, gardening in our backyard, front yard, side yard, and taking you guys along for the ride, showing you some tips and tricks, getting some tips and tricks from you guys, and just showing you what we're doing. This is a tomato plant. It is on a lean and lower trellis. All that means is there's ropes that run up to the top. Once the tomato plant reaches the top, instead of cutting it off there and having that as the height of it, we will lower it down with the extra rope that we have off to the side, trim the bottom of the stems. By that time the fruit should be finished. We'll trim the leaves and the fruit off the bottom, and it will just bow over, have a lean to the stems, and we'll be able to keep working higher up. The reason that we've got the empty spots around the garden is for the next lot of plants. So we're going to continuously plant every week. We're putting in new plants, and then once we start harvesting the plants and they're finished, they'll come out, then there'll be the new spots for the next lot, and it'll be continuous. We don't have a season here that we can't grow. We don't get snow, it doesn't get too cold. The only problem that we have with growing is probably the middle of summer, that it's too hot. So we just have to be selective of what we plant. We have some plants in the garden now. We also have some seeds that are germinating that are going to handle the summer heat. So we'll keep looking through. And we have some herbs here. At the back there's garlic chives. They will grow all year. They're a great substitute for garlic, onion. What's going on here? Man Shark, thank you for paying for me and my brother's surgery. I'm not sure what you're trying to do, but I haven't paid for it. We did, and thank you for those 2 free Lambos you had. Just lying around, thank you for saving our lives again. Just gonna remove that one. Alright, Fraser Tenerife. Good morning from Tenerife in Spain. Love your plants. Thank you. It is currently evening here in southeast Queensland. The sun has gone down over the horizon, which is that direction over there. It is currently 5:50 p.m. What time is it over there in Spain? Back to this little section here. There was garlic chives at the back. and in front of that is time 8:50 a.m. Okay, perfect. Is it nice weather? Nice today? It's been really hot here. We're getting some clouds. Well, not really clouds, but all day there was not a single cloud in the sky. So there's no rain coming. But that's how we're looking, 30 degrees. Okay, very similar to what we are here. I think today we were at 35 Celsius. Nice day. And then in front of the chives we have thyme. I think everybody has to have thyme in their garden. It gets through everything. And parsley. We have lots of parsley. My daughter loves it. My wife loves it. So we grow parsley in the garden. There was parsley back further down that way in the garden. We have parsley in pots. I personally don't even like the taste, but the rest of the family loves it, so that's what we have growing. We have cucumber plants. There's 2 of them. This one here. Good morning from 10. Good morning to you both as well. So we have cucumber plants. You can see here little cucumbers at the bottom of the flowers. These are female flowers. They may not all germinate, all get fertilized, but hopefully a bunch do. There's lots and lots of flowers. Let me try and turn this camera around a little bit. Where are we up in here? Lots and lots of flowers hidden away in this one, so we'll work out which ones get germinated. Oh, keeps germinated. Been working with seeds. We will work out which ones get pollinated, and I'll cut some leaves away to let some sun get in on them. But for now, we're just going to let that climb up. Cover the back panel here. Got mesh all the way to the top, so we'll let that fill in that area. This one here is trying to find where it's going to climb, but it also has the flowers. I'll probably, once I get them connected up properly, I will chop off all the ones that are touching the ground, just to try and stop any soil-borne diseases getting up into the plant. Always picking out any grass that we find. This is a capsicum plant that is getting absolutely destroyed by, I think they're worms. I haven't actually found one on there, or caterpillars, but I have seen caterpillars in the garden, so it's either caterpillars or grasshoppers, not sure yet. I have some spray which I'll put on this afternoon. Hopefully we can put them away. Then we have the leafy green section. These ones down here are rocket. They'll continue all through the summer. Behind it is different lettuces. They're all loose leaf, but no, I don't think any will survive the summer. So we're currently picking from those and eating them every day for lunch. But shortly I think they're going to go to seed. We will take the seeds from the ones we enjoy, cut down the ones that we don't overly like as much, and they will be ready to plant when the weather cools down again. That one there was baby spinach. It's finished up. I'm going to see if it puts any seeds out. If it does, I'll collect them. If not, we will get rid of that one. Strawberry plants are in here. They were planted too late, so we'll still get some fruit from them, but the leaves are turning red. They're struggling. Another one is mint. If you're going to grow mint, make sure you put it into a pot. More so than the lemongrass down the other end, it will take over the entire garden. At least with the lemongrass you can see where it's growing. This one grows underground and it just pops up all over the place. The first time we planted mint in the garden, it took us months and months to get it out. You just keep pulling it out and it would just keep popping up in other places. We have a bushing style tomato. It says it doesn't need a trellis, but I think it's going to start getting too heavy with the fruit, so I've put a little tomato trellis around it to help it along. And there is a bunch of little fruit in there. I'm not sure if we're going to get a vision of it. It's a bit hard holding the camera, but we do have a nice big fruit at the back. You can just see it in there through the leaves. But lots and lots more, lots of little baby ones. So that one there looks like it's going to be a really nice harvest. Hopefully they taste nice. The one at the front here is coriander. Zeke had, hi, welcome, I'm glad you're here. The one here at the front is coriander, and coriander grows all the way through except the hottest part of the day. Sorry, the hottest part of the year, which we're coming into. So it's actually pretty cool. You got the standard coriander leaves. The smell, it's actually really growing on me. Again, my wife, who loves the parsley, also loves coriander. But what I wanted to show you is a different leaf. So you can see down here is the standard leaves. Then the leaves up here are the new leaf. This means it is going to seed. Just wait for this motorbike to go by. We're back under the bush, and a couple of times a day we get some bikes come through. So the leaves here, it's the same plant, it's coming from the coriander. It just means that it is going to go to seed. One good thing with coriander is that the main leaves still taste fine as it goes to seed, where lots of lettuce, the leaves get bitter once it goes to seed. So once the coriander sends up its seeds, it's also something that you can eat the seeds from. You can collect the seeds for next year. So it's a plant that we do enjoy here a lot. We eat the leaves, the seeds, the whole lot. Alright, we'll come back out a bit further away from that one. And we will continue down the garden. Was that a Harley Davidson? No, it was a dirt bike. We have the bush out through just behind us here, and people run through there on their dirt bikes. Not very often. They're not really allowed to. It's a footpath, so it's only, I'd say, maybe once a day, but not even that. Maybe 4 days a week we'll have a bike run through there. These ones here are onion plants. I didn't actually show you guys the onions back down there. We'll pop in down and have a look. They're not growing as well as the others. This was a bunch that got pulled apart and planted separately to see if they grow any bigger. This is a lot of onions here. So these are the bunches. And then the one that's missing there is those onions up there that are pulled apart. They didn't look anywhere near as nice as these ones, so I haven't separated these. We're a little late in the season to be planting onions when we did, but you can see at the bottom they're starting to bulge out. We'll just be picking a lot of little onions. You can eat onions any time of the day. Cut the leaves off, use them like shallots or scallions depending on where you're from. You can eat the bases before they get big like onions, or any size of onion after that. Tears of prayers. Hi. Do I have a dirt bike? No, I don't. I used to have a dirt bike. I have a road bike. Where the cricket pitch in your backyard? No cricket pitch. We have a bit of grass, but in the coming weeks that's going to be pulled up and replaced with gardens. So if you'd like to see that, hit the subscribe button. If we wanted to play cricket, we would go down the park. We have a park just down the road. Where were we? Back up this way. The onion plants, which are growing but not as well as the others. This one here is a long yellow sweet capsicum. The capsicums that we looked at before were Chinese giant. These ones are called long sweet yellow. Not very creative with the name, I know, because they're long, they're yellow. I haven't tried one yet, but I'm guessing they're sweet. That plant's looking okay. It was actually on a discount at Bunnings, which is our hardware store. These ones here are, sound like Michael Clark. Okay, I think I don't actually watch cricket. I know that Australia is good at cricket, but it's not my sport. I will, after this, I'll pop on and to listen to a bit of commentary. I'll find out Michael Clark, see what he sounds like. Hopefully it's good. But back to the garden. King purple beans. They are going to grow through the heat of our summer. Lots of beans and won't grow here in summer. Sugar snap peas are probably one of our favorite, but they're a winter variety. So this one here is growing extremely fast. I think it's been in the ground for a little under a month. We planted it at seed. We directly sowed the seeds where they are, and they are all the way, the growing vines are all the way to the top. So I'm going to let it grow out and over the roof for a little while. Not too far. I don't want it to take out too much shade on the rest of the garden. But we are coming into a hot time of the year, so a little bit of dabbled shade isn't going to be too bad. I would prefer to miss out on a few beans than shade out the whole garden. The flowers have started. Let me see if there's any still out. Some purple ones here. So the flowers have started, and now that we're looking at them, there are flower buds all over the place. So there's going to be a lot of beans off that plant. We picked that one because you can eat them raw, you can cook them. They're purple, which is pretty cool. And the bees like the purple. Not sure if you guys can hear that. Another car being a bit stupid out through the bush. Am I vegan? No, I'm not vegan. I enjoy vegetables, I enjoy fruit, but I also enjoy meat. Are you vegan? You can see here, this one here this morning wasn't that tall, so it's grown at least 5 centimeters just today. I was out here this morning, and that one was not out through the roof. This section of the garden is empty, except for a spaghetti squash plant at the end here. That was also a discount at Bunnings, but it looks like it is coming up with all these leaves here are new. They're a lot nicer than these original ones that were on the plant. This old one here I've had to cut down. So, well, vegan, not gonna choose, but by society. Okay, whereabouts are you from? The only place I could think of, I'm not very worldly, the only place I could think of that would be vegan as a society would be somewhere in India, I'm guessing. We have a few Indians around the area, and I've noticed that a couple of the shops are vegetarian, which intrigues me a little bit because where I'm from, meat is enjoyed, I think, by most barbecues. Well, that's a right guess. Okay, I'm glad you're here. I don't think I've ever spoken to somebody, well, I don't know if you're in India. I guess there's Indians everywhere, but are you in India or are you somewhere else, moved away? This one here is a passion fruit vine. It is Panama Red. If you jump onto our page and we're interested, this whole garden here was completely covered by this passion fruit vine when we started our YouTube channel. Up here it covered the complete garden and then was hanging down the other side completely across the rest of the fence and up onto the kids climbing fort here. So we are going to, then we've cut it back hard all the way down. I wasn't actually sure it was going to grow back, but we're going to make a trellis here. It's going to be that wide, which I think is about 2 meters, and we'll make it 3 meters tall, and that will be the new passion fruit spot. Yes, I live in India. Well, welcome to the live here. We are in Australia. We're southeast Queensland. I've tried meat several times. Yeah, it's not. It's very normal. I don't think I personally know a vegan. I know a vegetarian. She doesn't eat the flesh of animals, but she still eats cheese and eggs and honey, things like that. But there's definitely some around. I just don't know them personally. All right. Where were we? Back to the passion. So yeah, passion fruit is going to be grown there. I'm going to stop it from growing up. Last time I just let it grow to its full potential, which we picked thousands of passion fruit from the one plant, which I was really surprised about. This year I'll keep it contained because we have a lot of gardens going in. Do you have any fauna there, especially from snakes? Yeah, there's people always think Australia's crazy with snakes and spiders. Yes, we have snakes, definitely. We have spiders. Backing onto the bush here, we have had snakes multiple times. One of our neighbours has come over and told us that they've had snakes just this week. It's not something we really worry about. We don't have many kangaroos where I am. There definitely is kangaroos. I think I'm not sure if we had a video of kangaroos on our channel or not. They do pop through behind the house, and if you go for a drive anywhere that there's a park or an open area, there are kangaroos here as well. Yeah. Snake for directly in our yard, snakes and spiders would be the biggest problems that we have. But really, growing up here, it just becomes part of everyday life, which is, I'm sure, the same as everywhere else. You guys have something that I would find I'd be nervous about, but yeah, it's not really something that we have to worry about. Go down here. I did notice this morning there was a couple of spiders that, let's see, not sure if you're going to be able to see it. We'll get in close and see if we can find the spider. This is a spider web here. The spider was actually really nice. It was shiny. It had yellow and blue on it. I can't see it at the moment. Some spiders set up their webs here at night time. Will stay up all night and then pack them up during the day. Some of the spiders stay out in their webs during the day and go away at night time. But no, I can't see that spider at the moment. If I find one, I will show it to you guys. They're sort of poisonous. Like if you got bitten, it would hurt. You'd get an infection. It'd swell up, but it's not going to kill a person. A bunch of the snakes that we get here are poisonous, and if you didn't get medical treatment, they would probably kill you. But they're not that common, and with the short grass, we can generally see them if they are around anyway. When we get some snakes in, we will through summer. I'll put some videos up, some shorts up. The emu uprising is coming. We don't have emus where I am. We're too coastal for emus. I'm not sure. Are you from Australia? Stromboni. No, it's not marijuana. It is tomato. We don't grow marijuana. Good evening. Hello. Welcome everybody. That's a tomato. It's growing on the lean and lower trellis. That's just sort of where I've ended up. If you're new, we were talking about spiders and snakes. There was a spider web there, but I couldn't find the spider this afternoon. We will go back down this way. I'll do a long shot up of the garden, and then we will see if the bees have gone tonight. So this is a garden that we're currently working with. Ritesh, hello. I have a few people from India tonight, or this evening. I appreciate you all being here. If you're interested in gardening, we have bees, we have composting worms, we have a lot of changes coming for our backyard. Hit the subscribe button if you'd like to see them, follow along. I do appreciate everybody's likes, all the comments. So yeah, this is the garden that we're working with. And we have 2 different types of bees. My favorite yeah, we have I'm glad you've heard a lot about Queensland. It's really nice here. Fruit and scene, flora, culture, and cricket. Perfect. What do we got? 32 acre. I'd love 32 acres. Village. What do you grow on the 32 acres? Is it just a single crop farm, or you're growing lots of stuff? Let's have a look here. These are the Australian native bees. They will probably have gone. Yep, they have. They've gone to bed. What's on the outside there is the wax from their original hive. I've taken them out of a bird breeding box that they decided to make home and put them into this box here. It's called an oath hive. Very different to honeybees, which everybody knows. There's no frames, it's just an empty box and they fill it out. It's worth Googling. It looks like it's from a horror movie or a space movie. The hives are incredible inside. Multi-crop, soybean and cotton, sugarcane. I saw a trampoline over there. Other small one at home. Yeah, I have 2 children. I have a son and a daughter. We have the trampoline, which hides some of my gardening products underneath. The climbing fort over there, that's going to come down. I bought that secondhand about 10 years ago. So that will, it's seen better days. That's going to come down and the trampoline will move over there. And then, yeah, getting rid of the grass, putting in a lot more gardens. So it'll be a work in progress. It's going to take some time. Just doing it as a bit of a hobby. Soybean and cotton, and then sugarcane. I'm going to grow some sugarcane. I don't think I will grow the other 2, but we close to where I live, maybe within half an hour drive, there is massive sugarcane fields. It's something that gets farmed here. I think there'd be thousands of acres of sugarcane. Am I on Instagram? No, I'm not. I'm just on YouTube. We're only new to YouTube. Just thought I would use it to have a chat with other people, and then also just document the garden. I can have a look. I'll look back at, you know, how the garden looked when it was new, different plants at different times. The Australian natives have gone to sleep. At the start of this live, I did have a quick look inside the European honeybees. They were a swarm that we collected. If you want to connect, just hit the subscribe button. You can comment on some videos, have a look around, see what we've done. I jump on every couple of days for a bit of an update, a bit of a chat on a live, and we can always have a chat when I'm on a live. These are the European honeybees. They haven't all gone to bed yet, but they are getting close. There's a lot less flying around than there normally is. They're only in a really small box, which they are filling up really quickly. Actually, I'm going to sit you guys down for 1 second, just so I can put that strap back on. Sorry about the view that you've got, I'm not sure what you can see there. Just strapping that one back up. Alright, so they are a swarm that we collected, it'll be almost 2 months ago now, maybe a month and a half. But they are almost big, full enough now that I will be able to move them into a full-size hive. And we got them at the perfect time at the start of spring, so I think by summer we'll be able to start taking some honey, but we'll let you guys know if we do that. Probably do a video of it so you can see it. I really appreciate everybody being here. So just reading some of the comments. No, it's not awkward. Yeah, hit the subscribe button. You can always jump on when we're doing a live. Have a chat. I'm glad you like what I'm doing. Why you have a hive of native bees too? Yes, I do. These are the native bees over here. We actually just have them really because we like them. They only make about 1 kilo of honey a year. It's if you've never tried it, it's probably it's hard to explain. It's richer than normal bee honey, sweeter and probably less syrup like. Some people have said if it's like the difference between a good red wine and a good what was it? A good red wine and a really good port. You'd say the native bee honey was like port compared to the European honey as the wine from, is it Italy? Hi, thank you for being here. That's so cool. How do I have them too? Yeah, they're amazing. This is a rescue hive. So the hive it's in is called an oath hive. It's an Australian designed hive. You split the hives once a year. I will split them to get enough. I would like to have probably 5 or 10 hives myself, but then after that we'll keep splitting them. Being an Australian native, I'd like to look after them as much as I can. So cool. What do I do for a living? I run an online craft store, so very different to the garden. We work from home, which is nice, me and my wife. Every time I'm out here this time of night doing a live, I'm really surprised at how well the camera picks up the light. It's a lot darker here than the camera is showing you. We'll do a quick rundown of the garden again. There seems to be a lot of people have come and gone, and then a whole lot of new people have come. So we'll do a nice fast rundown before it gets too dark. Is beekeeping expensive or just upfront cost? It's definitely just the upfront cost. If you can get a swarm, which is what we did, are you talking about the native bees, which you were asking about at the start, or the European honeybees? The native bees, once you are started, it's free. They don't need you. Realistically, we're just keeping them. I'm from southeast Queensland. Once we have the Australian natives, put them in a good spot, and you can leave them alone. They would stay there forever. The European honeybees are different. They sort of need the hives to be managed. Well, they don't need to be, but if you want to take honey out, which is what I have them for, then they need to be need to be managed. It's not a lot of money, but there's a few more concerns, like, you know, they can sting. You got to change the frames every couple of years. Every few years I change out the brood frames, which is where the eggs have been. Let them all hatch out and then put new frames in there just so they can make new comb. It keeps them healthier, keeps the hive cleaner and neater. And then if you want honey extracting equipment, that's quite expensive. But generally, if all you're trying to do is get a little bit of honey for yourself, it's really just the initial outlay. After that, I'd say less than $100 a year, unless you're planning on splitting hives and making new ones. What crop cultivation Australia is famous for? I don't really know if we have a crop that we would be famous for. We grow a lot of cereal crops. We grow a lot of sugarcane, macadamia trees. I'm not sure actually. I'm definitely more of just a home gardener than anything commercial. I'd say Australia is more famous for the people, the beaches, the lifestyle, and the animals. Coffee and rice. I don't think Australia is big on either of those. I know you can buy, but there's a few really small local coffee people that have Australian grown coffee, but I'm pretty sure, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure we import almost all of our coffee and rice. I try and grow, since I was a kid, we've sort of grown a bit of food each year, just in the backyard, just for our family. We haven't sold anything, but this time we are planning on growing a lot more of our food, changing the backyard up to have a lot more gardens, because even a garden this size, which is quite big, I'd say it's 20 square meters, realistically it's just more of a hobby. You get to enjoy some nice food, but it's not really enough to sustain a family. So the grass is coming out, the gardens are going in, and we will ideally be growing most of our own food. We have chickens planned as well, so we'll have honey, we'll have eggs, we will have the grown food, so fruits and vegetables. We will have potentially quail, which would be the only sort of meat that I think I would be harvesting from my own yard. I've been once to the MCG where I watched the 2015 World Cup final. Surely Australia's a great couple. I'm glad you've been here. I've never been overseas. I've never left Australia. There's so much here to see. Maybe one day. But yeah, so taking you guys along, getting a bit of a group going so I can show you guys what we're doing in the backyard, so I can use some of the tips that you guys have to share with me. It's nice to be able to have a group of people to chat to when you need some information. USA gardens are fun, and yes, you get to eat them. Too fast to track. What do you mean by USA gardens? I'm in Australia. What else do we have here? Trade King 47, welcome. Thank you. I have a few people from India that I've spoken to tonight. I think tonight is the first time that I've spoken to people from India on here. I don't quite often have the United States of America on. We have a bit of a chat about what's going on over there. That corn, yes, that's corn there. Come in, I'm not sure if there's going to be enough light to see it. I have a small patch of corn here. It's just started opening up. We have some little cobs here. Nothing started being pollinated yet, or nothing that we can see. But yeah, that's corn. We've got the next lot planted in beside it, and we will keep planting it all the way through. Squash, so that's zucchini. That one there's zucchini. I have spaghetti squash at the other end. Walk through here. Oh, on the left hand side, that was pumpkin. So that one's spaghetti squash. That one's only just been planted a couple of days ago, and it was actually a discounted one from the store. Let me pop down this way further. So corn, and then this one here is pumpkin. It's called Australian blue pumpkin. I was silly enough this morning to cut off the biggest vine that I had. I was trying to get rid of a couple of little bits that were growing the wrong way. Most days I come out in the morning, trim some plants, take off any dead leaves or damaged leaves, and I cut the biggest vine off. It was all the way out here, basically to the edge of the straw that I have out for them to grow on. So still a mistake, but more will grow. Down here in California. Yeah, tomato plants are a bit like that. I have 2 different species of tomatoes in the garden, and I have a 3rd species. Actually, here we go, one of the only pests that I have to deal with, which is the cane toad. Not sure if you're going to be able to really see that. We can't get rid of cane toads. They are probably the biggest pest that Australia has. They eat the bugs, but they also eat the plants. This is one of my tomatoes here. That is one that will continue growing, so I have it on a trellis that I can lower it down to keep it at a workable height. And then this is another tomato in here, which is a bushing variety, which will stay at less than a meter, or you're from America, so 3 foot. Enjoy your night. Thank you. Enjoy yours as well. If you're here enjoying the chat, want to see where our garden's going, want to see inside those beehives in the next update, hit the subscribe button if you would like. I'd really appreciate it. Anything you think that we should plant, let us know. You can either comment now or jump onto any of our videos, put in a comment, have any tips or tricks, see something that you think I'm doing that would be easier a different way, let us know. I'm definitely not here pretending to be an expert, just here recording the garden, having a chat, looking after some of the animals. Raxial, hi, welcome to our backyard. So I got back into growing veg this season again. Old Man 11, whereabouts are you from? Old Man 11, are you in Australia? I've sort of grown something every year, but it's generally at the start of spring I plant everything all at once, and then by halfway through summer I have harvested everything. And then the garden sort of does nothing over winter, or a passion fruit vine grows up and over the top. And then it sits empty for the year. But we've decided that this time is different. We are pulling up the grass, putting in a whole lot of new gardens, moving the backyard around, setting it all up, having a nice entertainment area. Some big changes coming, so if you want to watch them, hit the subscribe button as well. From Victoria. I was actually in Victoria just a couple of months ago. Um, it's a nice place. Yeah, so while your backyard looks empty, you should try plant different types of beautiful and cute flower plants. My backyard is empty because I have cleaned it all out. I've set it all up now to start upgrading with the gardens. Yeah, it's going to be more. You're not wrong about Queensland. It's nice up here. Um, the gardens will be full of the backyard. Most of it won't be flowers. It's going to be food. We're planning on growing the majority of our food right here. We have bees and we have. We don't have the chickens yet, but the plan and it's underway is to have chickens and no fruit or nut trees. We will have I'll get back to that one in a sec. With the chickens are going to be down here, and once they're all set up and going, we will also put in quail. That will be probably the only meat that I'll harvest from the backyard. It's too small for anything else really. There are fruit trees, so this one's mandarin, this one's orange, which will come out into the backyard once it's changed, and in behind the corn there is lemon. I've got the plans for the backyard, which I'll share with you guys soon, but there is going to be spots here for 4 more trees. No, the whole family's in on the gardening. My son come out and was planting seeds this afternoon. The orange tree there, that's his. He checks on it every day. It's been about 6 months and there's still no fruit on it yet for him, but he's super keen. It was actually probably more my wife's idea to expand the gardens this year, but I loved it, so we're doing that. One bush containing orange, lemon, and grapefruit. I've heard of those. The grafted fruit salad trees. They seem like a great idea. I haven't got any, but I might look into it actually. Yeah, it's something that I might look into. We have some gardens out the front which currently are either empty or just have plants in there just because. So we're probably going to plant some more of the longer, like the plants that take longer to get the fruit from. So things like fruit trees where they're only going to be, a few months a year, we can get a harvest, pineapples, stuff like that. So it's not taking up space that we go around every day. Actually, you can't see it at the moment, but in here I've just planted a grapevine. I've never grown grapes before, but seeing the whole backyard's going to be food, I think we will have space. Nice garden, thank you. Skibbity smooth it is. My son would love that. Yeah. Watch out for pests eating your garden. They are. I have I don't think we're going to have light here. I have a capsicum plant here that is getting demolished. So I've got some natural spray we're going to try on that. Try and get rid of those pests. We were just looking at a cane toad over here. They're more interested in the bugs, but they do also eat the plants. Besides that, not a lot of our garden is being eaten at the moment. So hopefully we can stay on top of the pests. I think I was having saying something about one of the comments, but I forget which one. Let me go up and have a look. It's looking a lot nicer. We do have fruit trees. The whole family's on board. Absolutely, they're all on board. The three fruits on one tree sounds like a fantastic idea. Thank you for the nice garden. Tea, perfect. All right. Well, look, I have been on here for an hour showing you my little backyard. I'd really appreciate everybody that's stopped in, everybody that's still here, everybody that's subscribed and hit the like button. There's still time to hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Kevin Gonzalez. Yes, we're growing fruit and vegetables in our backyard. We are changing the rest of our backyard to continue to grow fruit, veggies, all different types of food. We will have our own supply, hopefully, that we can get the majority of our family's food out of our own yard, know where it's come from. So it's 10 times fast, red glue gun, blue glue gun. I can barely say that 1 time slow, so no, I don't think I can say that 10 times fast. Yeah, so this is our backyard. We are about to head off. If you want to see anything else to go with it, to go with our backyard, any hints, tips, tricks for us, want to see any of the tips and tricks that we will be sending out as well, hit the subscribe button. Thank you for the extra likes. I really appreciate those. We are a new YouTube channel. We are in Southeast Queensland. We are called Aussie Backyard Harvest. This is my backyard. Thank you all for being here. I will see you again on the next one. Have a great day.